In a career full of shocking moments, Kanye just opened up about something deeply personal. Kanye claimed that as a child, he and a male cousin, who is now incarcerated, engaged in what he described as sexual experimentation. He pretty much said that the experience haunted them both, and he believes it shaped two very different, very dark paths.
All right, now Kanye West, in the meantime, has posted a new song. And this song is called Cousin. And I want to say, when he posted this, he wrote alongside that he was sexually abused by his cousin until he was 14 years old.
Whoa.
He said his cousin is locked in jail for life for killing a pregnant lady a few years after I told him we wouldn't look at dirty magazines together anymore. He said, perhaps in my self-centered mess, I felt it was my fault that I showed him those dirty magazines when he was 6, and then we acted out what we saw.
What?
And here is a part of the song where he really addresses that.
Hey, yo.
And he also ended this post with, my name is Ye, and I performed oral on my cousin till I was 14.
Till you were 14.
I said it in the way that you can say it on the radio.
So I guess Kanye was watching more than The Throne at that time, right?
So yes, he said, and he posted a video, and he posted this full song, and there's a lot going on in this song. So he also, and it's interesting because that is very sad.
No, the interesting thing is
but people don't believe this because of all the things that he's been writing.
True. He says till 14. So from 6 to 14, he was doing this.
And he also says he's not gay. And
I think we need a ruling on that one.
But it does feel like he's been having some type of breakdown, for years now. And yes, so, things like this, you can't ever understand how. These are all just allegations right now, so that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah,
but
for 8 years.
You can go on his page and listen to the full song.
Okay.
Whether you think Kanye overshares or is just being raw, this was definitely a different kind of vulnerability. Not a media stunt, not clickbait. It was a man cracking open a memory he kept buried for decades and tying it directly to trauma and his family history and his art. We've watched Kanye break down in interviews before.
Why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got.
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the answers.
Kanye,
You ain't got the answers.
I'm asking you.
You
a
ain't been
question.
doing the education,
bro.
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
We've seen the outbursts and the rants, but I feel like this felt like something he had to say, not just something he wanted to. I feel like that also speaks to the generational wounds that rarely get addressed, especially in public. It's uncomfortable, it's raw, but maybe it's also necessary. And he spoke about what happened to the cousin involved, now serving time behind bars. And it wasn't just about childhood trauma. It was about what happens when that trauma goes unspoken. It sounded like he was grieving for the both of them, really. Like early wounds like that, especially buried deep in the family history, it can spiral into decades of pain. That just makes you think, damn, how many more of us got stories like that? How many more stories are there like that in the black community? And amongst famous black people like Kanye. We all know somebody, family or not, who went down a dark road and maybe nobody ever asked why. I feel like the fact that Kanye even trying to unpack that on a public stage says a lot. I think a lot of people focus towards like the music part of it. And, of course, why wouldn't they? Kanye's an artist. They go, oh, this trash, or, oh, this is, what I'm saying? I miss the old Kanye, yada, yada, yada. But I feel like the fact that Kanye is trying to unpack that on a public stage really says a lot about where he's at mentally and how he's tracing that pain. Kanye's recording his trauma in 4K. He's channeling it deeply into a new song. No filters, no metaphors, just raw pain. And if you know Kanye, you know music is his therapy. And this ain't the first time that Ye has turned his pain into music, but this time feels a bit different because it's about something that happened long before the spotlight ever even found him. And look, I followed Kanye's music for years, and say what you want about the man, but he's never afraid to put his realest moments or his rawest moments, whatever you want to call it, on wax. And this song, for most people, it ain't going to be an easy listen, whether it's because you look at it from the music perspective of, oh, this is trash, or about the content and what he's talking about. Maybe that's the point. Some stories ain't supposed to be smooth. They're supposed to sting. And maybe by telling his story, he's giving space for others to tell theirs too. It pushes people out of their comfort zones, definitely. And you already know it's going to be a polarizing reaction. Some people are going to accuse him of trauma dumping, and others are going to applaud him for bravery or whatever. But I think this could definitely spark an important conversation about childhood abuse and repressed trauma and the long-term psychological impact. And, Kanye is going to be Kanye. He's not going to ease into anything. He dives headfirst into anything he wants to talk about. He dives headfirst into the taboo, the personal, like the messy. And whether you agree with his approach or not, one thing's very clear. He forced a conversation that most people are going to run from. And I think it's easy to clown Kanye, to write him off as crazy or doing too much, but you gotta admit, the second he shares something raw and painful, folks get uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of times we as fans, we ask celebrities to be vulnerable and to be authentic, but only on our terms. And I feel like Kanye's definitely breaking that mold, and maybe that's what makes it so hard to process. And look, Kanye is arguably one of the most influential artists of this generation. And, for years, hip-hop was about toughness and invincibility and macho, but now we're watching that armor slowly fall away. We've seen artists speak on addiction, depression, PTSD, and now Kanye's taking it a step further. And this is the part where we as a culture decide what to do with it. Kanye's story might not be your story, but it mirrors something bigger. And whether you're ready to hear it or not, somebody needed to say it. If art really imitates life, then Ye's not making music right now. He's making a mirror. And it's up to us whether we're going to look away or finally face what's been hiding behind us all along. Let's talk about it down in the comments.